kind of insights it can generate for us, right? So how this intelligent machine journey has been there? I'm sure all of us, when we were kids, so in school we have used Excel, or maybe in early 11th, 12th or after that, you would have seen that. At that time, the Excel used to have 65,000, 75,000 lines which used to be there. So that was the kind of thing which we used to collate the data. And before that, we used to write on slate or on rock to do all of that. Now, with time, the amount of data which is getting generated, that's also changing. So the Excels expanded to 135K, and then even then Excels, it went beyond Excels. So then came technologies like big data. Now with big data, it's all about so much of tremendous amount of data which is getting generated. Imagine, how many of you have social media account? One, not audible there?
You are audible.
How many of you have social media accounts? Everyone? All of you browse, all of you post, right? So, in this room, I think 10-15 people are there. Across the world, there will be millions of people who will be there. All of them doing some post, some click, some view, some action. So much of data which is getting generated. But then what Facebook is trying to do, or Instagram is trying to do, it will take all of the data, try to understand what I'm interested in, and then basis that, how do I go about what could be my behavior. So based on what kind of post which I am doing, what kind of things I am doing, it will start recommending me. Okay, you have a baby, so maybe a baby photo shoot kind of thing you want to do, or some kind of baby diaper kind of thing which could be there. So it will start recommending those kind of things based on the kind of data which is getting collected in the backend. And that kind of data, when we talk about millions, it is not easy to manage. So that's where the big data technology comes in. So where we aggregate all the data sets and use it to generate some kind of information by acting on that. But in the early part of the journey, what used to happen? There used to be either Excels or there could be some kind of systems which would collate some kind of data. It will pull up and create some kind of report. Like even we would have done some report, right? Attendance report, marks, what is the weighted average, how much average people are performing, all that kind of insights we will be getting. Now, that was the very start thing on data which has happened. So reporting the past data. Somebody has taken the exam, and then this is that we are able to see, okay, this is the kind of a result which will be there. Now, the world is progressing, right? So now even before, based on the kind of historical, what kind of questions you have set, you will be able to know how much would be the pass percentage. What kind of things people would be able to answer, what is the average social intelligence level or educational intelligence level, and based on that kind of sample space, what kind of outcomes it can generate, right? So you will be able to know even without rolling out your question papers, that this is the kind of impact it can generate. So that will be there. So that's the reporting of the past, which is the business intelligence part where it comes in. So we call that BI in our life, right? So where we have some historical data, we take on top of that and see how the performance has been. But then that's all about past. I'm living in current era. Can that be something done there? Or can I go ahead and predict the future? How the future is going to be, right? So that's where the concept of machine learning comes in, where I try to collate all the data, and then based on my historical trends, what has been there, I try to see what could be the next thing. So if there are, let's say, movie is getting released. So what could be the kind of a release I should expect? What is the kind of a opening which could be there? So how do I get that? How do I understand how much footfall would be there? Or a mall is getting opened. So all that would be based on some kind of historical data, some previous movies which have happened by the same producer, same actor, all that permutation combination. Shah Rukh Khan fan, Prabhu Deva fan, all that will come in, right? So that's how it will predict the future, what kind of things can come in. But then predicting the future is not easy, right? You need to be very accurate. So that's where our concepts of probability and statistics, those kick in. Because based on the kind of data that you're bringing in, and data has to be clean and pure, right? So based on that, you would be able to define the confidence interval. What kind of accuracy which would come in when you are defining these kind of outputs or outcomes. So how do we get that kind of value? Right? So that is an important element where statistics and probability comes in and plays a role. Then comes, okay, the information is there. Can I do some kind of a decision making based on that kind of a data? So if I'm going to do some kind of a rocket launch, do I have some kind of a historical data which I can use and say that, okay, this is the kind of a wind velocity which is there, and with this kind of wind velocity, this is the kind of a propulsion velocity should be there to overcome that wind velocity, and that my rocket can move forward in space. What's the escape velocity and all that? So taking all that into consideration. So that's the creating the future part of it. Even before it is done, using that, predicting the future and creating the future, using that to make it real life. Then comes the exploring the future. What kind of things can be done beyond? So we are predicting, but again, how can we envisage or create something? Yeah. So the first one. Any thoughts around that? Have you seen or heard about that?
Computer versus the world chess champion.
The image is not very clear coming there, but there is a chessboard and there is one man who is banging his head.
Or Kasparov.
Gary Kasparov, yes. So Gary Kasparov was the grandmaster. He was the sharpest man who would know what kind of moves to take even before the game started, right? So he was the smartest man on earth for us. But then there was a computer with whom he competed, and he thought he will win, but the system beat him up, right? So that thing happened way back in '97. Right? So imagine, we're talking about so much long back. So computers started to beat humans that time. Next is a competition. It's like the US version of Kaun Banega Crorepati. I'm sure we have seen Amitabh Bachchan doing that, right? So it's a US version of that. There was somebody who had won that kind of a show, and there again he or she competed with the computer there, and he lost. So systems are becoming increasingly more intelligent than humans. These are some of 2014, the first artificial imagery came into being. This is not a human painting. It's a AI generated painting. We are talking about driverless car. So we started talking about it last year. Uber started with that kind of driverless cars. But then it has been there for 2020 since last 3-4 years. After that is the 2021 drones. I'm sure you have seen for drone photography. But then there are some region in US market where drones are being used to deliver the things. So the last mile delivery which is there is being done with the help of drones. So life is changing quite fast. Machines are taking a lot of things where human effort was involved. By no means it means to take away the human jobs. What it intends to do is to make the life easier for us. Right? Somebody was supposed to carry that kind of a huge thing. So instead of that, machine is doing it, humans can focus on better things in life. So AI. AI, when we say, what is it all about? Algebra, calculus, probability, statistics. So these are the core foundation. People fail to realize, and sometimes even when I was a student, I used to think like, how will I use this? I'm studying M1, M2, M3, M4, I am a mechanical engineering guy, and mostly landing up in IT. I would need to know C, C++. Why should I know maths? Right? What is the importance of maths there? But then I failed to realize at that point of time how important the role of math would be in shaping my life. I never realized until I started studying data science. I did my MBA, there I studied again. In engineering, I studied probability, statistics, linear algebra, all that. In MBA, again, I studied probability, statistics, all of that. Still, I wasn't able to understand. But then when I started working, I realized, okay, everything what I am doing in data science is actually mathematics. There's nothing without mathematics which I can do. Any model which I talk about, that is mathematics. So, people fail to understand that, but it is one of the most important element in our life. Everything is maths, everything is logic. Even the neural network or the logistic regression that we do, that's also maths, right? And that is the core foundation. So that's where we decide how the human behavior would be, what kind of things have to be done. Like if I have to make a simple thing, like I'm a marketer, I have to go ahead and do some kind of a campaign. Now, if I have to do a campaign is something what you see the ads when you go to YouTube and all that, right? So I have to do a campaign. So there is, you see the ads on YouTube, Times of India, all of those on the left hand side that comes. You go for some search, there will be some ad written and then some text will come. So all of that will be there. So company has to spend on all that. Now, if somebody has to say how much of money I should spend to generate this much amount of business, how will that be done? That will require maths. We need to take the historical data, we need to take all of the business line data on how the past performance has been, what kind of channels have invested in past, social media, display, search, advertising, all that I need to know. And then basis that I would be able to say, okay, this is the kind of outcome. And for doing that, I would need some kind of logistic regression to be there. And that will determine like how the market mix modeling will work, how the split of the campaign element should be there. Any questions so far? I think I am keeping it very simple because I am sure last 4-5 days it would have been heavy for you. So everything what we do requires some bit of decisioning, right? Now, I was talking about the ad. Where should the ad be shown? Should it be shown as soon as we land on the page? Should it be shown once we are browsing? On the right hand side, left hand side, top, center, bottom, where? Where will the click rate be high? Where are the high chances that when I go ahead and click on that ad, the people will go to my page and all that? So how do I know that? Some decisioning somebody has to take the call. That okay, if I keep it on the left, it will generate lesser click because people are right-handed, ambidextrous, not everybody. So if you keep on the right side of the screen, that's why you will find all the YouTube ads or even the Google ads are on the right side. So people are right-handed mostly. So that kind of thing has to come in. How much of home loan or a credit card transaction should be allowed for you? How to make that decision? Easy? No? In the bank, somebody is there is some kind of a system which does our evaluation.
Okay.
So earlier it used to be just a human decision, okay, he is my friend, he has good income, let me give him. But then now everything is automated. Any bank, any ATM, everything we go, it's all about how the kind of previous history has been, what kind of civil records, fair records, which are there, and basis that it will do some kind of a credit evaluation, and then it will say that okay, this is how this person's credit behavior is. He has never defaulted. Maybe we should give him a gold credit card or a platinum credit card, or this kind of a loan. So and for doing that, I need to have some kind of a data coming as an input. We watch videos, and I'm sure on YouTube every time we go, it starts recommending us some kind of next video, which one to watch. How does it do that? Based on previous history, based on the heartbeat tracking which is being done. So there's some kind of analytics tool which is there. It will try to understand past video which I watched, how much I watched. There will be some videos which might be boring for me, and I will click and move to the next part, right? So taking that kind of a click behavior as an input and then giving me that kind of a decision, okay, what should come next? So there is a library. In that library, a lot of books, a lot of videos are there. What should follow what based on the historical behavior? Who should I connect on Facebook, Insta? All that gives recommendation comes in. So a lot of such kind of things which we see in our day-to-day life, everything is powered by decision sciences, and which is data and mathematics. Whole lot of things, right? What is the best crop for the soil or weather? So which area, what soil, everything. So companies like Syngenta, they manufacture crop protection, they manufacture fertilizer. Now for those kind of companies, based on the kind of weather, so what they have done is, in the fields they have deployed some kind of sensors, IoT sensors, so which would understand the kind of weather pattern which is there, how much of humidity, how much of dryness. Based on that, what crop would be good, what kind of fertilizer I should do, whether the air is lacking the nitrogen, can I add some kind of nitrogen in the fertilizer. So all that comes in, right? Now for doing that, what do I need to do? All of that. first have the data. Data can come in from any of these sources which we want to analyze. We need to collect all the data. But do we want to collect anything and everything? No, we don't want to convert the data into a data sum. We want to ensure that it is the right set of data. So I need to, when I'm talking about database, so